Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, X Rotation, however the flip you know me in these interwebs, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys not this, but this. I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick preview of what to expect going into Week 4 of Stage 1 of the CDL, that being the first stage of the 2026 CDL season. Now, if you guys missed it, this was the last video I uploaded going over my Week 3 results, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. Without further ado, let's get into the Week 4 predictions. I'm really excited for these matches. We have some amazing matches this weekend, so if you guys are going to be spectating, I'm going to be doing watch parties the whole time, highlights, etc. That's why I had to get caught up. So here we are. Now, looking at our first matchup of the weekend, we have Miami Heretics taking on the new look Vancouver Surge with TJ Halley in the mix. I really like what I've seen from TJ. I really don't like what I've seen from Miami. You guys know I've always been quite high on Miami. I've always been like a low-key fan. So I try to be pretty fair to them, but at the moment I'm just not as high on them as I would like to be. I feel like they have some things to iron out, and that Real trade was definitely more telling than I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be so impactful to the Miami side, but he was a real difference maker. I thought they had a really good cohesive unit with, the play between Rancor, Super, and Metals, and Real, and I thought they had a good system where another player of high talent like Trakes could come in and make a difference, but I think that system just needs to really adjust to the new players that's entered it. The new player that's entered it, excuse me. Speaking of new players that have entered the mix, we have Paris Gentlemates, of course, that being Ghosty, Envoy, Neptune, and Sib, taking on the Real Falcons, that being Cell, Exnid, Pred, and the Bulldog Kiz. So I think this will be another one. Let's think about this, Christopher. I mean, Gentlemates went to a Game 5 against Cloud9 New York. I think Real Falcons are better than Cloud9 New York. I'm not going to say that that's a downtick in Gentlemates' form. I'm just going to say that Cloud9 New York are a really good team, and they played to their potential. I also feel like with Cell, Pred, Kismet, and Exnid, while their wins haven't been the cleanest, and their performances haven't been the most perfect or really eye-appealing, let's say. They've been playing some pretty winning COD, but not the prettiest COD. I'm going to say it's a 3-2 in favor of the Paris Gentlemates. I just feel like their systems of how they want to play each game mode and map are a little bit better ironed out than the Riyadh Falcons side at the moment. And I just feel like they're a better team right now, ever so slightly. But I feel like the parity in this league is not what it used to be. Any given day, any team can come through and beat a really good team. And I feel like we all have to be prepared for that. So looking at the next series, speaking of teams that have looked really good at different points, we have the Boston Breach taking on the Miami Heretics. I hope this is not a mulligan. Let's see what the community's thinking. Let's get some inspiration. So the community's slightly leaning towards Miami. Hmm. It's kind of interesting. Does Miami have a win yet? Yes, they're 1-3. This is a rough one, guys. The thing is, I'm not super high on Breach, but I am at the same time. They have a lot of glaring issues that I've seen come to fruition in some of their matches against teams like Ravens and other mid-pack teams that they should really have somewhat of an edge over, you'd expect, right? With Nasty, Cammy, Purge, and Snoop, you'd expect them to have an edge over a team like Carolina, who's figuring things out in the absence of Slasher. I just don't know, guys. This is definitely a trap series. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say we're going to get the result, right? I'm going to trust myself. Why not, right? It's free. But we're going to back the Boston Breach again. No Doug, no dub. No Doug, big dub is what I think. So we'll say a 3-2 for the Boston Breach, just because if they're going to take down the Miami Heretics, I feel like they probably take map 1, map 3, and then Miami takes 1 and 4. So looking at our next series, speaking of teams that could take 1 and 4, we have the Carolina Royal Ravens taking on Toronto Koi. Honestly, I like what I've seen out of the Ravens a lot, but that loss to G2, I feel like that kind of popped the bubble a little bit. I feel like in terms of like them punching above their ceiling, I feel like that whole charade is over. I feel like when we saw them play, Their first series, that was definitely them punching above their weight, right? But now that teams have gotten a little bit more time to acclimate to their play style, had enough time to at least watch the two matches that they played through VOD review, and both were game fives, I mean, you would have to think that Carolina's little party is going to slow down a little bit, right? So looking at teams that aren't really slowing down much at all, we have two teams that are really, really in terms of form becoming very unpredictable, and they are looking like two juggernauts that are building up, right? Cloud9 against Paris Gentlemates. Some of you guys are going to be like, oh, they're dog shit. I mean, they played them pretty tight. If you watch that series up until games 4 and 5, I mean, they could have easily won that series, right? Like, if they had been a little bit more locked in the overload, they could have definitely won that series. So, looking at it, I'm going to say Faze Vegas get it done. After that Optic Texas series, I feel like that's just going to put them in a different stratosphere as a team. I feel like that's one of those early season things that you look back at where it's like, where were the confidence builders? Where were the things that solidified this team as the team that they become, the identity that they have? Like, let's say Surge is like a top tier team with a lot of S&D, you know, talent and just random respawn grit. That came out in about January, February, around this time. So now we're starting to see the identities of these teams take root. That's why I like FaZe to win here. I'm going to say because it's FaZe and Cloud9, I'm going to say Game 5. I hope it goes Game 5. This rivalry's always been a fun one, New York versus FaZe. So yeah, age old, just got to go with Game 5. Looking at our last day of matches for this week, rather. We have the Boston Breach taking on Cloud9 New York. I think Cloud9 and Mac and the boys, I think it'll be a fun one. I think going up against Cammy, all these guys are just, there's so many former like teammates here, right? So you got Beans, who's a former Boston Breach player, and yeah, I mean, so yeah, let's not get into memory lane too much. I think it'll be a 3-2 in favor of Cloud9, just because I feel like their S&D prowess is a little bit better than Boston. Boston in their last few S&Ds, they have struggled, right? Like just getting on the same page, making those really coordinated team pushes, and kind of not leaving Nasty in the positions that we saw him in so often in Surge's losing endeavors last year, 1v3s, 1v4s, etc. So I feel like Cloud9, they just play better as a team. They're a really, really, really cohesive team. Vivid, Mac, Afro, and Beans, they all just do their part. And that's always been kind of the identity of these New York Call of Duty teams, right? 25% like New York Subliners. That's how they won champs. So looking at teams that have won champs, we have FaZe Vegas taking on G2 Minnesota. I think honestly, you guys know I was really high on this G2 team going into this year. I feel like they will definitely continue to improve. I feel like they'll definitely become a top tier blue chip team at some point in the season. I feel like they will be a head turner, but not just yet. So that's why I'm going to say it's a 3-2 in favor of FaZe Vegas. G2, they have been a really, really great respawn team. Their overload has been not great, like I said in the last video, but their hardpoint has been really, really good, and their S&D can be good at times. So I feel like they have potential to not necessarily take the overload, definitely take an HP off of FaZe. FaZe's HP has not been lights out all year, so that's an inlet for them. If they get Kremp losses, that's definitely a possibility. And that's why I think it goes 5. I think G2, I think they probably get like a raid or something in there where they can get Mixy really, really, really close quarters and ratty. And I think they probably take that, and then I think that's how they force a game 5. But I think FaZe get it done. And then speaking of teams get it done, I think Optic Texas versus LA Thieves. With Kenny, I mean, this is a revenge series on both sides, right? Kenny wants to embarrass the guys who famously dropped him around the same time last year, going into their ring ceremony. So there's a chip on his shoulder for sure. He's playing for a spot in the league. Certainly, if he has another bad performance this week, you would have to start thinking that that Neum call is nearing, right? So I think Kenny will be playing for his spot. I think he'll be playing to really rewrite the narrative that's been written about him over the last year or two. And I think similarly, Abizi's in a similar spot, right? Like on Faze, he's been kind of quiet over the last couple of years. Everybody's like, Abizi's great, but nobody's been singing his praises like we used to in years prior. So definitely a prove it series for Ken and Abizi. So we'll see how it goes, but I think Optic Texas with Mercules, Shotzi, Hook, and Dashi, These takes sometimes age like milk, but I feel like it's just hard to doubt those guys. Even though they did have the blip loss to Faze, they're still defending world champs, EWC champs. The way they locked in at the end of the year and just dominated everybody and had an iron grip on the CDL, it's hard to doubt that that won't just return with natural time and effort and things being figured out, right? It seems like this foursome of Optic players is just that good, right? Like when you look at the eye test, Hook, Shotzi, and Dashi, three of the best players of all time, right? And then you had Mercules, who's the unknown possible future GOAT, and this team, their possibility and their recovery looks to be endless. So, yeah, guys, that's what wrap it up for me. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed the last video. Hope you've been checking out all the highlights. I've been working my keister off from the bed with this flu, so keep your boy in your prayers. Keep the fam in your prayers. Yeah, my pops caught it, so hopefully it doesn't get bad for him like it was for me. Yeah, hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night. Like I said before, hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, be sure to come back. I'll do something a little bit different. Try to switch it up on the channel a lot, you know? And yeah, hope you guys enjoy all the COD this weekend. If you want to check out a live POV where someone's reacting to the games, answering questions, explaining anything that you might be questioning, pull up to the Twitch stream. And yeah, like I said, hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night. Like I said before, and once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News X Rotation. I have a flipping on me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.